we're going to talk about separation anxiety in dogs. So probably the number one thing that we work with board and trained dogs is owners say their dogs have a sense of separation anxiety. And what separation anxiety is when an owner leaves, the dog gets super upset. They might destroy things, they might pee or poop in the house, they might run around the house and get a little bit anxious. I've seen some dogs actually even jump out of a window. So separation anxiety is serious, it's severe, and what you have to remember is a dog that has separation anxiety is actually a dog that's really upset. So what are the main symptoms of separation anxiety of dogs? The number one symptom when you are gone is that your dog is doing something abnormal than they normally do in your home. So for example, sometimes when you're gone, you may come home and your dog has destroyed all the toys or the couch cushions, or sometimes you may leave and you can hear your dog barking and you might get a message from your neighbor that says your dog barked for the entire time you were away. Drooling in a crate is a huge sign of separation anxiety. So what you have to remember with separation anxiety is when you're gone, your dog literally doesn't feel safe. Your dog doesn't understand that you leaving means that they're going to be okay and that you're going to come back. It literally makes them feel like they're literally at risk for their own life. And that unsafe feeling is going to show up in bad behaviors or behaviors that we would perceive as bad. So there's a lot of things you can do to solve separation anxiety, but what is the number one thing that you should never do to a dog that has separation anxiety? Do you guys know? The number one thing to never do with a dog that has separation anxiety is to come home and be angry at them. If they have pottied in the house, or if they have messed up their crate, or if they have destroyed something or gotten into the trash, it's so normal as humans to come home and be like, oh my gosh, you got into the trash can, and to yell at your dog and be upset at them. And by doing that, all it does is confirm that you leaving is a cause for them to be stressed and for them to be upset. So it is important that when you do come home, if you're noticing that your dog is showing signs of separation anxiety, that you try to remain calm and we come up with a training plan for you. So let's talk about the three main things that you can do to solve separation anxiety with your dog. The number one thing, your dog needs exercise. You need to let them go outside, you need to play with them, play fetch with them, play tug of war, take them on a walk. They have to have some exercise before you leave. Now, this is not a for everything, and I understand that sometimes we go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, so realistically, taking our dog on a 5-mile walk first thing might not happen. But when we're working with a dog that has severe separation anxiety, we have to meet their needs first. What is the best way to exercise your dog before you leave the house so they can become quiet or tired? So, in my opinion, if you can play a good game of fetch with them or a nice game of tug of war with them, something to really get that bond and that energy out, that is often more effective than a long walk. And the reason is when they're playing fetch or they're playing tug of war and you're doing a hide and go seek game maybe in your backyard, that's using their brain and it's using their body. So that's going to be a little bit more engaging for them. Letting them sniff, letting them have some activities, those are all good things to do. So when we're working with a dog that has separation anxiety, we know that you leaving them is going to be a trigger for a lot of energy disbursement, whether it's by destroying something or barking the whole time. So we have to counteract that by trying to help them get a little bit more tired before you leave them. What is the second thing you can do? So the second thing you can do is practice your dog staying in an area that they're going to be staying in when you're not home, when you're home. So what I mean by that is most of us, if we're using a crate for our dog, we put our dog in a crate when we're going to leave. So we're getting ready to go to the store, we grab our keys, we put our shoes on, we have our purse, we put our dog right in the crate, and then we leave the house. And then that crate becomes, every single time the person leaves them, they go in the crate. But do they go in the crate at any other time? And that is the number one mistake pet parents make. We want to practice putting your dog in the crate and letting you watch a movie with the crate right next to you, or putting them in the crate and letting them have their breakfast or their dinner, or putting them in the crate after a super long walk when you're going to go take a shower and they're going to go in there and nap. We want the crate to be an association of, I go in here and something good happens. I go in here and I eat. I go in here and I rest. I go in here and mom watches a movie with me. The crate doesn't mean go in this spot and then I'm going to leave you all day long. So you definitely want to make sure that the crate is a happy thing for your dog. In my opinion, for dogs that have separation anxiety, we have to focus on crate training first. And the reason is a crate is a safe space for a dog, and a dog with separation anxiety could become very dangerous for themselves. Like I said earlier in this, I actually worked with a rescue dog once that she was so anxious when her mom would leave, she jumped out of a window and she badly hurt herself and she had to have surgery. So for her, we had to have a strong crate for her to where we knew that she could be safe. Let's talk about the third thing that you can do to help alleviate separation anxiety in your dog. We want to make you leaving something positive for them. So most dogs, as you can see, they love treats, and we want to practice that when you leave, good things happen, and there's a variety of ways to do that. So I've selected a couple toys that I really like for dogs that have separation anxiety, and I'm going to start with the Kong Wobbler. So this is one of my favorite ones. So this is a Kong Wobbler. It's a little bit like the Kongs that you would see that you could put like peanut butter in, but this one is hard, so it's very hard. I like this the most, especially for dogs when we're away, because it's safe for them. They can't choke on anything. So basically the way the Kong Wobbler works is when you unscrew it, the top is hollow, so you can put treats in there. The bottom is weighted. So what I will typically do is I'll take, a handful of their treats. I often use my dog's kibble for this, and I'll put it in, and then I will close this, and when they're gonna go in their crate and I'm gonna be away, I will practice feeding them part of their meal. Now, if I'm doing board and train and I'm working with dogs that have severe separation anxiety, they eat at least one meal a day in a crate, and we work up to the duration of being in the crate and where I am and location of the crate. So sometimes at first when I'm working with dogs, I might have them in a crate and I'm right next to them and the crate door is open and they're getting this and they're getting their treats out and they're happy. And then the next day I close the door. The next day I close the door and I go sit on the other side of the room. The next day I go to a different room. The following day I might go outside, and then I might even take a short drive around the neighborhood. So the reason I like the Kong Wobbler is dogs have to work to get the food to come out. They'll basically put their paw on it, and as they're rolling it, you can sort of see kibble comes out. Kezia, stay. Hey, Kezia, sit. Good girl, stay there. So as they're rolling it, kibble's gonna come out, and as you can see by her reaction, that's exciting for them. So what does this do? This counteracts their brain and makes them feel differently about you leaving, because you leaving now means these exciting toys are gonna happen, and they're gonna get food. So that's a really helpful way. Now, if your dog doesn't, hey, Kezia, you, good girl. If your dog does not want to eat when you're gone, then we have to sort of adjust the routine, and we may need to make it a little bit easier for them where their meal always comes in a crate or it comes out of a puzzle toy, so they understand it first. What you want to do when you're training is you want to train under threshold, and what that is what is the point that your dog cannot handle what is happening. So if you go to offer the Kong Wobbler in your dog's crate, you leave to go to the grocery store, you come back, your dog is barking, they've drooled everywhere, they haven't eaten, that is a sign that it's too much, too fast, too hard, and we want to go back and make it easier for them. So that's where training happens. We do behavior splitting. You're going to split these behaviors into small steps to help your dog succeed. So let's talk about something else. This is a snuffle mat, and with a snuffle mat, you can see the bottom is flat, and the inside is lots of different layers. So with our snuffle mat, what you can do is you can take some of the treats and you can spray them throughout the little snuffle mat. And what happens is your dog has to search for the treats to come out. And you can change difficulty levels. At first you can make it easier where the treats are on top, and then you can make it a little bit harder where you hide some deeper down. The thing with the snuffle mat is it actually teaches your dog to sort of hunt, and dogs have a natural hunt drive. So when you're using a snuffle mat when you're away, or you're putting them in a crate and we're practicing making them comfortable, this is, again, it's a way to engage their brain. So let's say it's an early day, you have to go to work and you know that you don't have time to exercise and walk your dog and make them tired, but you want them to feel satisfied, a snuffle mat is a great option. So it keeps them engaged, they really enjoy playing with it, and it's a really good way to alleviate some of that anxiety when you're not right there with them. So we highly recommend our snuffle mat. The third option is called a licky mat, and I don't have it in here right now, but as you can see, you can probably see on here, it's got little nodules in it. So with the little nodules, what I will typically do is I'll take plain yogurt, you can use a little bit of like turkey flavored baby food, and I'll spread it well, and I might add a couple little kibbles to it so it's gonna stick, and I will stick that in the freezer. And what happens is when I stick it in the freezer, it becomes hard, and it takes a lot of stimulation for a dog to get the treats to come out. So licking is a soothing behavior for a dog, and what that means is it helps them naturally calm down. When they're licking, it actually releases chemicals in their brain that helps them feel comfortable, and the reason that is so helpful is because if they're licking when they're going in their crate when you leave, it's automatically helping them release chemicals that make them feel safe and happy that you are, not necessarily there, and they're going to be able to be okay. So this is a great tool as well. Now, what I do recommend is always try some of these options when you're home with your dog, and do very short periods away from them. These two can be, a little bit dangerous if you're going to leave your dog for a long time and they're prone to chewing things. We don't want them to get a blockage, of course. The Kong Wobbler really is my go-to with if you're going to be away from your dog, and the reason is it's hard, it's weighted, they can't destroy it, they can't eat pieces of it. So safety for training is always our number one importance. So it's important to be careful with that. So those are the three main things you can do for a dog that has separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is not something that's going to change overnight. Honestly, hiring a professional dog trainer when you have a dog that has significant separation anxiety is a game changer. And the reason is When I have a dog with separation anxiety, I have a 2 to 3 week span where I am working every single day, little tiny pieces to help your dog succeed. My entire life routine is dedicated to how long can your dog be alone? Let's start with, 30 seconds and let's go up to a minute. So we're doing small spurts of it, and that helps them succeed. Ketsia, can you sit down, please? Sit. Good girl. So if you're doing small amounts of time away, your dog can build and feel successful, and that actually does change behavior. The biggest thing when you're training, just like if a person is learning, is you don't want to go from 0 to 100. So if I see that your dog is making progress and they can go 15 minutes in a room by themselves in a crate being quiet, I'm not going to go leave them for 4 hours. I'm going to leave them maybe for 20 minutes next time. And if I see they regress with that, then I'm going to leave them for 10 minutes. I'm going to be in the room with them. So training is all about behavior splitting, and it's about really finding the right recipe to help your dog succeed. And with the right training and the right routine, every dog can be successful. Thank you so much for watching.